The number one loser. You know who it is? Barack Obama.
All right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. I'm feeling kind. But before I go out, I've got a pregame.
Do you know why? Because his voice doesn't carry weight anymore.
And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light.
He was out there begging, screaming, scolding. Everything he did, he no longer carries that weight. Imagine Barack Obama, every day he goes to sleep, he remembers that one dinner that he's talking shit to Trump, saying you'll never be president, when he did the, angry tweets and all this stuff on Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, and he reads the Trump tweet at him, talking shit about him. He says, at least you'll never be a president, drops the mic. Obama has to eat his words for the rest of his life. It's gotta suck.
One of the most interesting moments in the 2008 campaign occurred when a man, like Obama himself, came from out of nowhere to recount his experiences with Barack Obama, the man. His name was Larry Sinclair, and he told an amazing story. He said that in 1999, he had encountered Barack Obama in Illinois, had sex with Barack Obama, and then used cocaine.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Shout out to everybody watching. Thank you so much for catching this on the live. Today is November 26th. We are a few days away from Thanksgiving. Everybody that's catching this on the live, come on in. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. We got a lot. I was diving deep on this particular situation today, and I wanted to share it with y'all, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But before we jump on in, I got to talk about the giveaway. I'm doing a giveaway for Thanksgiving, for holidays, just to say thank you for everybody, all the subscribers, everybody that's in the chat, just to say thank you, period. I'm so grateful for everybody. I will be giving away a $25 gift card for Amazon. It started on Sunday every day until Saturday is the last day to do it. Let me read my disclaimer. This is not a sponsored YouTube promotion. The only thing that you need to do, the sweepstakes is absolutely free. The only thing that you need to do is type in giveaway in the comment section down below, and a system will automatically pick winners for each day, each time that I go live. You only need to be a subscriber and then comment. Again, this is absolutely free. Official rules, I went through that. I got to make sure that I read all these disclosures, right? Winner will be contacted via... The winner will be contacted on a video, then will be sent an email. You'll edit the comment, and then we will. I'll send out the gift card. So again, this contest is not sponsored by YouTube. I am solely responsible for the contest winners and prizes. All you need to do is type in giveaway down below. That's a big ass disclosure. Anyways. If you're catching this on the live, what is up? We have Barack Obama, the one, the only Barry Soetoro. I thought it would be a great opportunity to kind of revisit Barack Obama, the one and only Barry Soetoro. We are going to dive into the chef, the book, a little bit of Michelle. We're going to talk about this individual that Tucker Carlson was talking about, Larry Sinclair. We're going to be diving in today. So I hope you guys enjoy. So we got to talk about the one, the only Mr. Barry Soetoro, right? Barack Obama. Barack Obama, a real name, Barry Soetoro. A lot have speculated, similar to Kamala Harris's rise to presidential candidacy. It was mass manufactured. just like Barack Obama's history. In that intro, Tucker Carlson mentioned that in 1999, an individual by the name of Larry Sinclair met with Obama back in Illinois, and they used the white powder stuff. We're going to talk about that as well. The white powder stuff. And he drove around with Mr. Sartoro and had relations with Mr. Sartoro. The rest of the media wasn't necessarily navigating through this information because it's Barack. It's Barack. Let me see who's in the chat. What is up, Rob? What's up? Hope everybody's doing amazing. Boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go.
Pretty amazing that Barack Obama got as far as he did. In 2004, the summer of 2004, Barack Obama gave the keynote address at the Democratic Convention in Boston. And when he walked to the podium, probably only a small percentage of people in the room knew how to pronounce his name. He was totally unheard of. No one knew Barack Obama. At the time, he was a state senator in Illinois. 4 years later, he once again spoke to the Democratic Convention, but this time as the nominee. Meteoric doesn't begin to describe it. How did this happen? Well, the outlines are fairly well known, though rarely talked about. A small group of Democratic donors, mostly in Chicago, decided that Barack Obama was their guy. He was the vessel for their ambitions. They paid for his campaign. They paved the way for his rise. He spent 2 years pointlessly in the United States Senate preparing to run for president in 2008, and of course, in the end, he won. But the question was, who was this man?
Who's
Where
Barack?
did he come from? What did he spend his life doing before he became president of the United States? Well, the news media, whose job it is to answer those questions, spent the entire 2008 campaign trying to keep you from knowing the answers. By Election Day, most Americans knew only one thing about Barack Obama, other than he was handsome and a good communicator: hope and change. But they knew nothing about him, his origins, what he believed, and legitimate questions about those facts were turned away, as they often are, with the claim, "That's a conspiracy theory. You're crazy. Shut up." One of the most interesting moments in the 2008 campaign occurred when a man, like Obama himself, came from out of nowhere to recount his experiences with Barack Obama, the man. His name was Larry Sinclair, and he told an amazing story. He said that in 1999, he had encountered Barack Obama in Illinois, had sex with Barack Obama, and then used cocaine with him. Sinclair went on to make these claims publicly at the National Press Club in Washington, to sign a sworn affidavit, and to take a lie detector test. But he was dismissed. In fact, he was attacked. Obama shills like Ben Smith of Politico batted the claims out without refuting them. They're absurd. And the rest of the media followed suit. But the claims weren't absurd. We're not claiming they're true, but they were certainly credible. This was a first-hand account of Barack Obama's behavior by someone who was willing to sign a sworn affidavit to that effect. So the question is, whatever happened to Larry Sinclair?
What happened to Larry Sinclair? We're going to dive into that here in a minute. But Larry Sinclair openly talked about this on the Tucker Carlson show and on some footage that I found. Stephanie says, Larry and Barry sitting in a tree. Larry and Barry. I'm definitely going to pull up the birth certificate here in a little bit, but I wanted to get into this situation, and the media has openly talked about Mr. Sartoro's previous use of Mary Jane, also the white powder, and his consistent addiction to cigarettes, which he still battles with, presumably today.
The circle that installed Obama Pay close attention to this old footage of Barack Obama. I'm going to show you why it's even more disturbing than it looks, as you see him right here. Young Barack Obama tweaking, holding his hand to his neck.
For all his immense power, there's at least one adversary President Obama seems unable to defeat: his addiction to cigarettes. It's a battle he's been waging since he was a teenager, as he explained last year.
I would say that I am 95% cured.
8 months later, he's still struggling after his physical exam this weekend.
Barack Obama is someone who we know has a struggle with addiction. Despite being the president and having access to the top of the line care, he could not quit. Well, there's something else to that. There's a reason why the elites chose him. And as we circle back to that video that I showed you at the beginning, it is all going to start to make sense. The people shown in that video, one of them was one of the former assistants to George Soros. The other's part of the elite circle that installed Obama into office. You can see all the papers as part of their plan on the wall there. This is the house, by the way, that Barack had in his early 20s. How is someone fresh out of school going to afford a house that nice that's currently occupied by an older, wealthy man? Barack Obama has been a plant this entire time. He is someone who was addicted heavily to drugs. They used that to control him. They have footage of him doing extremely awful things while high on drugs. And that is how they were able to get the Epstein client list almost entirely evaporated during Obama's presidency. Some parts of it still remain, but that's why we haven't had a big reveal yet, because a lot of it was erased under the Obama term. On top of that, they were also able to erase large parts of what happened in Hollywood, including with Diddy. Obama has been the tip of the spear for the elites for a very long time, and as he continues to unravel, as his body looks worse and worse due to all of the drugs, the alcohol, the cigarettes that he's also still smoking as well, you realize that this shell of a man was used as a vehicle by one of the most evil groups in the history of the country.
What do you guys think about that? Stephanie says he grew up in a middle class family too. Interesting, right? All these presumable CIA plants are growing up in the middle class family. They have nice lawns, right? Now it seems that one factor's kind of missing regarding Mr. Sotoro's past is his father, Lolo Sotoro. Based on some research and some footage that I had pulled up, Lolo Sotoro was a fairly wealthy individual and had connections with Bush. There have been some footage with Mr. Barack Obama and Bush, and there is this story that goes around with Bush giving the kids, Michelle's kids, Barack's kids, Barry's kids, the same candy that he gave Barry when he was younger. Very interesting stuff here. Here is Larry Sinclair. Larry Sinclair is actually done, right? But here is Barry Sinclair in an interview speaking about the two encounters that he had with Mr. Barry Sotoro.
For a living, Mr. Sinclair?
Currently, I run a nonprofit in Cocoa building affordable housing.
Now, in 2008, when Obama announced his candidacy for president, you made some explosive allegations about him that dated back to some events that occurred in 1999. Is that the year that you met Barack Obama?
It is.
Where did you meet him?
Outside of a bar in Chicago.
What were you doing?
I was on a night out. I had asked a limo driver if he knew anyone that would be interested in showing me around the town, and it was clear for the limo driver that I was looking for someone to enjoy the night with. The introduction was made through the limo driver.
And what happened?
We had a few drinks. I had made some comments about wanting Coke, so we got in the limo and left, and we started drinking. I started snorting. He started smoking. I actually put my hand on his knee and started to rub up his thigh, and I performed oral sex on Barack Obama. The following day, I actually get a knock on my hotel room door in Gurnee, Illinois, only to find Barack Obama standing in front of it. He had actually come back for seconds. I performed oral sex on him in the hotel room at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois.
Were there drugs involved on the second night as well?
There was.
Who produced those?
He actually brought those with him.
Now, Obama at that time was a state senator.
I actually had no idea who he was.
And then when did you find out that it was Barack Obama?
Watching the 2004 DNC convention.
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. Thank you.
And it hit me, and at the time I was just kind of floored.
Good afternoon. My name is Montgomery Blair Sibley. I'm the attorney for Larry Sinclair.
Now, you have this press conference.
I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine.
After the press conference, you are arrested
By the D.C. Police Department upon the orders of Beau Biden, Attorney General for Delaware.
So this is Joe Biden's son, Beau Biden.
It is.
I want to pause it right there because there's a whole nother lapse that I dug down this rabbit hole regarding Beau Biden. Beau Biden is a whole nother story, but it kind of coincides with what could be potentially going on here. Ozzy says Joan Rivers was right on this. Joan Rivers also Joan Rivers is right after she openly said some things about Michelle.
Apparently, he had a grand jury indictment from 2 weeks after I went public on Obama accusing me of theft that never took place.
Shortly before you made these public allegations about Obama, you were contacted, you say, by a man named Donald Young.
Donald Young was the choir director in Jeremiah Wright's church in Chicago.
This is the church Obama attended.
Exactly.
And what did Donald Young tell you?
That he too had intimate relations with Barack Obama and had for years, and that I needed to protect myself, that they were going to come after me.
What happened to him?
He was shot point blank in his apartment.
Assalamu alaikum. Many other Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim majority country. I know because I am one of them. You are absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith. My Muslim faith. The Holy Quran teaches that. The Holy Quran tells us, and the Holy Quran also says.
Interesting stuff here. You know, the reason why I was diving down this rabbit hole was because Barack Obama had recently been in the news regarding his, quote unquote, political stint to revitalize Kamala Harris's campaign. And where he was actually shaming individuals and saying that there's not the same type of energy with black voters, black men, as there was with Barack Obama. If they knew exactly what was going on with Barack, would that energy still be there? Judge Joe Brown talks about Lolo Soetoro several times in the research that I was diving into today. And this is one of the main pieces speaking about Lolo Soetoro's history and his potential connection with the CIA.
Who went through school is Barry Soetoro. His stepfather and adoptive father, Lolo, L-O-L-O, Soetoro, died as one of the 20 richest men on the planet Earth. Obama is beneficiary of a trust fund along with his two half-siblings. He is probably the richest man to ever occupy the White House. Lolo Soetoro was a major in the Indonesian army and a contractor with the CIA. What Daddy did was run death squads for the Indonesian government. He was an executive vice president for Standard Oil, and when he decided to set up his own company, in Indonesia, where possibly the world's largest oil reserves are located. I imagine he used his position of having an active death squad at his proposal to facilitate some of his business dealings. And now, interestingly enough, there are documented moments between George Herbert Walker Bush, who was head of the CIA at the time, and Lolo Soetoro, have certain arrangements, and they were frequent golf partners. And Lolo Soetoro used Goldman Sachs as his American financier or financial banking institution. He used the law firm that Obama and Michelle worked for as his legal representatives, and he did many a joint venture with British Petroleum, i.e. BP. And there are questions as to why Obama would not mandate the rest of the oil companies assisting BP, in a British corporation now, not an American one, from cleaning up the Gulf. Are there some trade secrets there that no one wanted to expose from the Brit side? You see, or look at Obama's grandmother, who was the Hawaiian type, who was the bank VP. Well, in declassified documents, it just happens to be that she was in charge of dispensing CIA funds in the Southwest Pacific, which included Indonesia. The president's mother worked for what is now acknowledged to be a CIA front organization, and his biological father was attending school here in America under the aegis of another now acknowledged CIA front organization. So it looks like we've got a family well hooked up with the American intelligence network. And I don't know why the White Wing is trying to criticize him as un-American when he's got very long personal association with the intelligence side of things in the Cold War.
Desiree says Judge Joe Brown knows what he's talking about. Judge Joe Brown has openly, he comes with the receipts. Joe Brown is coming with the receipts. He came with the receipts for Kamala Harris. I said her name right there. Shout out to me. Anyways, he came with the receipts for Ms. Harris, and he's coming with receipts for Barry Soetoro. And yeah. You guys see that comment from Robert there. Terry says, now I'm waiting to be reimbursed by their insurance.
So his family is big oil, big business. He ties up a lot of traffic here in the country because he's never been to these cities. He comes in and he wants a ground tour, which causes gridlock. Instead of just flying in on a helicopter, he likes to ride in slowly. Instead of flying back on a helicopter to the airport or a Secret Service convoy at 100 miles an hour, he likes to take a ground tour because he hasn't seen the country.
And we wonder why, right? Now, looking back at everything that transpired during his administration, looking back and really diving into this stuff, things actually kind of continue to make, or they start to become a little bit more clearer on why and what and how he did the things that he did. Joe has all the tea. Yes, he does. Gina says, I love Joe Brown. I've always liked Joe Brown. I loved his court shows. So I know a lot of you guys, I came across this. This is from Demon Eraser. The username's kind of, but shout out to him for doing this. This is Barry Sortoro's birth certificate. Some of you guys might have already seen this, but some of you that have not, the first time that this is the first time that I'm going to watch this in its entirety. But look what this gentleman does to the birth certificate that can be openly found on the White House website.
Because I just saw some video online that said Obama's birth certificate is fake. And it's on the whitehouse.gov. Apparently you can download it. And so I did. I'm a professional designer, guys. I'm a professional designer. If you look behind me, look 3D printers and like wave format printers, all this stuff. Okay, like I do this all the time. Like I've done photo editings. This is insane. I am like shook at the intensity. I gotta show you this. So here we go. We're on, I just type in Obama certificate. Here, I'll just type it in, enter. Here you go. Obama certificate, long form PDF. This says the White House, or the Obama White House archives.gov. This is the official .gov website, okay? This is Obama's birth certificate, supposedly. But what I'm about to show you is gonna blow your mind. Like I'm downloading it right now. We're downloading it. Let's bring it up in the files. You know, I've done this a few times now at this point because I'm like, I can't even believe this is real. So, and let's open this up in Illustrator, okay? In Illustrator. And I'm like thinking, okay, well, that's, you know, it could be legit, except for, wait a second, there's bounding boxes on here. So you can delete the bounding boxes and in Illustrator, and if you delete them, you can move the entire background document off of the page. And you can literally separate it, and you can see that this is the original document with the original text on it, that this has been completely photo edited, and they put this ghosting effect on here. And this is like, I can't even believe this. And even the background's been edited because this pattern just repeats like it was on the page, but it like curls around. I don't know what that's about. That's weird. But all of this is separated. These are separate window boxes. This is from the White House's website. Look, I literally just downloaded this. And look, it's like crazier than that. Look, the entire document has separation components. Like their date stamps are two tonal different colors. Like they can be moved separate. Like I'm just blown away. I'm blown away at how terrible of a Photoshop job this is. There is like some artifacting things here, it looks like. This is literally, look, some weird artifacting thing to try to make it look more legit or something. I don't know. I mean, this is insane. Like this document is clearly a faked document. How come nobody has bothered to look at this document and say, hey, that might not be legit? How come?
Do you remember when Donald Trump was openly talking about the birth certificate about Barack Obama? And it took months and months and months to actually doctor up a birth certificate from Barack Obama. And they were calling Donald Trump crazy for even thinking or saying these things out loud. And we're seeing it right here, that this document is completely,
seriously, no,
it's completely manufactured. The elites create puppets. And I think that's the main, that's the main thing here. Robert says, I think Trump, yeah, he did. He called it out and he got shunned for it. King Bull said 8 months to be precise. Yeah, it took 8 months to be precise. That, or to come to see it. And this is what they came up with. Stephanie says, winning. Trump is tired of winning and being right. Everything that this man says, everything is right. The media should just start believing him. Desiree says the elites and Democrats are all pedos. Yikes. Rob, Obama should never have been president.
Designer with any experience looked at this and go, yeah, it looks a little funny. You see this glow around the text? That's clearly photo editing. Like, I'm just blown away right now. Like,
that is crazy to me. That this is an open, available document to be downloaded. I'm going to jump into some Candace Owens. I got a little bit of Candace Owens. and then we're going to jump into the chef. The chef. What?
Barack Obama in general. And I know, okay, it's a sensitive subject. I know this is one of those things where me, the messenger, is definitely going to get shots because none of us were awake back in 2008. So when people were pointing out some oddities about Barack Obama, right, everyone was quick to go, oh, that's because of racism. Like, that's like, come on, this is absolutely happening because you just don't like him because he's black. And I count myself among them. I have to always remind you guys, like, I was a liberal or left-leaning. I never actually voted for Democrats, but I, too, thought that anybody that was saying anything about him was racially motivated. I cried the night that Barack Obama won. But I want to be clear. I've grown up since. I've got 3 kids now. I'm married. I'm seeing the world through a different way. I realize what the media is, and I realize how they really do think that black people are stupid. And in the retrospect, there were definitely some very weird things about Barack Obama. For example, and this is just a fact, back in 1991, when Barack Obama was completely unknown to the public, he was working with a literary agency that was named Acton and Distal, okay? They were tasked with promoting his first book, which was a book that was meant to be entitled Journeys in Black and White, which actually never wound up being published. But in anticipation of his book being published, they were promoting Barack Obama and other authors that were on their roster. And they promoted them in a booklet, which they distributed to people in the publishing industry, like, hey, here are our authors that we want you to publish. And in the booklet, they included a biography of all of their clients. And this is the biography that they included of Barack Obama. Okay, take a look here. It says, this is real, 100% real. Barack Obama, the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review, was born in Kenya and raised in Indonesia and Hawaii. The son of an American anthropologist and a Kenyan finance minister, he attended Columbia University and worked as a financial journalist and editor for Business International Corporation. Blah, 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 okay? So the whole concept of, like I said, that's 100% legit. The whole concept of whether or not he was born in Kenya was not coming out of racist ideas, right? It wasn't because people were just trying to delegitimize him. It was because he had a literary agent, and that literary agent published a pamphlet, and that pamphlet said that he was born in Kenya. And then suddenly that changed, and they were like, no, never mind. He was born in the USA. That person who published this never gave an answer for why they wrote that. They tried to say like, oh, like that maybe the literary agency just wrote that. Why would anybody just write that you're born in Kenya? It's like a weird thing to write. Okay, it doesn't matter in the scheme of things. He was already president for 8 years, but it's good to go back on that. And then, of course, there was this other odd thing that happened. Like, he did, by the way, grow up in Indonesia. That's a fact, right? He, like, at the first 8 years of his life were spent in Indonesia. His mother moved him to Indonesia, and he went by a totally different name. He went by the name Barry Soetoro. Here's an old clip of journalist Matt Meager from Inside Edition revealing that truth. Just so you know, these were not conspiracies. Okay, take a listen.
As Senator Barack Obama has made his run for president, some have questioned his background, particularly the 4 years he spent as a child in Indonesia. He was educated in 2 schools, first a Catholic school and then later a public school. Matt Mahar traveled to Indonesia to take you to both of the schools the candidate attended.
This is the Assisi Catholic Grammar School in Jakarta, Indonesia. And Barack Obama is on his way to becoming its most famous former student.
Barack Obama.
The only record of Obama having attended the school is this old register. And look, it lists his name as Barry Soetoro. That's the name Obama took from his Indonesian stepfather, Lolo Soetoro.
Okay, so whatever you make of this, what we know is that Barack Obama was First and foremost, right after she gave birth, his white mother is the person that raised him, okay? Her name is Stanley Dunham. There she is right there. That is Stanley Dunham. Okay, he never lied about this. He did not grow up in a household with his Kenyan father at all, Barack Obama Sr., whatever. He was raised by his mother, Stanley Dunham, and then she married a person who worked for the Indonesian government as a geographer. She married Lolo Soetoro, and Barry Soetoro was born, you know?
Craziness, right? For those of you that haven't seen this episode, shout out to Candace Owens for producing this episode. She has been diving deep. The reason why this stemmed up was because the whole Kamala Harris situation. And then she reverted into Barry Soetoro. Barack being fake, don't even get me started about Michelle. I know. There was an incident where he was, I came across a clip today that he was openly stating, and he said Mike, and it slipped out. I don't know, presumably, right? I don't know. Desiree says the nanny. The nanny. I'll fast forward. Let me see.
He then moved to Indonesia. He went to school in Indonesia. And then he gets sent back to Hawaii at the age of 10. So for the first 10 years of his life, I'm just going, okay, like he was not exposed to Black people at all. He was exposed to Indonesians. And then he gets sent to Hawaii to get raised by his exceedingly white grandparents. Here's a picture of his grandparents. That's Madeline Dunham and Stanley Dunham, the person whose mother has the name of her father. So then, yeah, he is in Hawaii as well. And in case you didn't know this, he was extraordinarily wealthy. You probably could figure that out by all this moving around. That's why while he was in Hawaii, he was enrolled in a private school. He attended the Punahou School, where tuition is for grades K through 12. Tuition is $31,000 per year. That's today, so you can account for inflation, okay? But that's where his grandparents enrolled him, okay? So it's important to note also that in 1970, when Barry Obama got to Hawaii, there were only 5,925 Black people in all of Hawaii. Okay. And it's worth noting that 80% of those, north of 80% of those 5,000 Black people were in the military. He was not exposed to Black people at all, is what I'm trying to make the point. Okay. He had literally not a single part of his upbringing was he around Black people. There were no students, no Black students at his very expensive private school. Okay, there's no Black people in Indonesia. And really, for those of you that haven't been to Hawaii, it's still like, it has nothing to do with America. It feels like we just took Hawaii and we're like, yeah, you're America. But when you go out there, you're like, okay, this is like its own thing entirely. They look more Asian than anything else. And they're kind of a little pissed off that we took them, if we're being completely honest about Hawaii now. So he went there. His mother went to a school that the same one that his dad went to in Hawaii, the same one that his stepdad went into Hawaii. Really kind of feels like he was a part of some weird military program. And then after that, after going to his $31,000 per year private school in Hawaii, he goes to Occidental College in Occidental University or college, whatever it is, in California for 2 years, where he roomed with a white guy for the first year, white guy with blonde hair. He's written about it for his freshman year, and then moved to live off campus in his sophomore year with a Pakistani for 1 year. His dorm mates have described him as doing a mean Mick Jagger impression. Literally, I know I've heard the name Mick Jagger, but I had no idea that he was the lead singer of the Rolling Stones until today. I was today years old when I learned that. I'm just saying, I understand, like, people grew up in a household that listened to rock and roll. I didn't grow up in that household. MJ was not Mick Jagger for us. It was Michael Jackson. The whole reason we're doing this series is because somebody came for the Jacksons. That's the kind of household I grew up in. So then Barry Obama met and dated a woman in his sophomore year. Her name was Alexandra McNear. You might remember she's the one that released the letters that Barry wrote to her, where he talked about his homosexual feelings. Like he says, like he makes loves to men in his mind. And so he had like homosexual inklings. He then went to Columbia University and still dated Alexandra McNear and was writing her these letters at that time. Anyways, I'm just thinking, like, what part of Barack Obama's life gave him the authority to tell black men how to act black in America?
Good question, Candace. Ozzy says Barry Jagger. Yeah, I don't know if it's this video, Desiree, but there's a snippet in here where he was raised by the nanny. Let me see if I...
Suddenly, like, you're just like handed an award and gone, okay, gave him the black card. Now, how do three white people test and suddenly king, queen, in terms of his background as Kamala Harris? I am a firm believer that they are breeding politicians. His background.
Robert says, yeah, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy to me. When I came across this story with Larry Sinclair, it blew my mind, you know. And there was another piece where Larry was openly stating that, you know, he put the white powder on the back of a CD case, and then Barry presumably went into his pocket and grabbed a pipe. People smoke or snort, whatever the situation is. Barry liked to smoke. And then we have this situation here that actually got swept under the rug. And a lot of you guys are saying that in the chat. There's this mysterious death at Martha's Vineyard that occurs with the professional chef. An individual that was an avid paddleboarder, presumably dies naked when he went out for a swim, to paddleboard.
Fox News Alert, we have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell. The Massachusetts State Police responded to our FOIA request and released their report with some redactions. According to the report, Obama was on the scene shortly after Campbell went missing. Report also states an unmanned female staffer jumped into the water when Tafari fell off his board, but it was already too late. He disappeared. We also now know that Secret Service has surveillance footage of Campbell from Obama's compound moments before he entered the water. So we're going to see if we can get that, and we may have that for you. Again, we're very, very sorry for Tafari's family. That was a serious, serious tragedy.
Here's the remainder of that clip here.
Call in the drowning of Obama's personal chef, Tafari Campbell, has been released. We knew a Secret Service agent placed the call after the female Obama staffer paddleboarding with Tafari alerted him of the drowning. Now, we also know that there were 2 calls made. They've been released, heavily redacted, likely in order to protect the first family. Take a listen.
911, the sign's recorded. Where is your emergency?
We have a male drowning in the back of the property right now. We have our rescue swimmers. They're attempting to go out there right now. Someone came running up to our back post saying that a gentleman, it's just a guest of the house, is out there drowning. So right now our rescue swimmers going out there.
And you said you guys have boat access, so what do you guys need? Do you need an ambulance or do you need water rescue as well?
They didn't advise right now. I would say at least an ambulance, and I don't know if what they're doing in the back of the property right now. So our rescue swimmers aren't able to locate the gentleman that was reported drowning. So they're out in the water right now. But as of now, they have they don't know where he is.
We have everybody on the way over there now to meet with you guys and gather their resources.
So there's no mention of the Obamas on the call, but we now know the former president arrived at the incident command post after the 911 call was placed and spoke to Secret Service and police. There's also no mention on the call of the female Obama staffer who was paddleboarding with Tafari when he drowned. We'll continue to update you on the story. And again, our deepest condolences to Tafari's family.
You know who's... Oh, here is some footage of Tafari Campbell in 2019 swimming. The dude was swimming. The dude knows how to swim. Desiree says he's an excellent swimmer. You don't go out paddleboarding if you don't at least know how to float. And the interesting thing was, like I said earlier, he was found naked. Like, this blew my mind. And I'm going to jump into this. So we have this right here. Let me get out of these ads. Tafari Campbell drowning parallels a tragic death of Clinton's chef. As I'm getting a bunch of ads. The tragic drowning of the former White House sous chef and the Obama's family personal chef, Tafari Campbell, over the weekend is sadly similar to the premature demise of another White House kitchen veteran. Campbell's death comes just 8 years after Walter Sheb, who served in the White House executive chef from 1994 to 2005, was found partially submerged in the New Mexico mountains in 2015. 61-year-old Sheb was first reported missing by his girlfriend on June 14th, one day after he failed to return home from a hike in the Sao-Ski Valley. What do you guys make of this? Is there presumably some information that these individuals see and they just they just get rid of them? All the door handle hangings in the pneumonia is eerie, also very common when they cross the Clintons and Barrys. Yep. Pneumonia seems to be a common theme across, when we think about Ellen DeGeneres, Eminem, aka Ellen DeGeneres, right? Her former spouse, Anne Heche, died of pneumonia. P. Diddy's ex-wife, pneumonia. Margie says there's 10 people that have died at the Clintons. No one has ever investigated and they just cover it up. Twitch. Yes. Thank you. Twitch. Twitch was Ellen's co-host. I don't know if he was finding some things regarding Ellen, but that whole story is a mystery as well. This gentleman went to a hotel 15 minutes away from his house without his vehicle, with a backpack, didn't come home, turned his phone on airplane mode, and then had some head trauma. Brittany Murphy. Yes, all these people coincidentally just, what is going on here? What are they uncovering that is leading to these mysterious happenings here? Specifically with this Tafari gentleman and Larry Sinclair. I'm not sure how Larry Sinclair passed away. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to pull it right away. Does anybody know how Thomas says death, destruction, disasters have followed the Clintons for decades, and now it's beginning with the Obamas? Yeah, Twitch's story was very interesting too. I kind of went down that rabbit hole today too. But let's see what we got. How did this person die? It's funny, when I Google it, the first thing that comes up is these books, you know, Larry Sinclair's book, but let's check out this obituary. I don't think this is him. Unexpectedly, bop, bop, bop. I don't know if that's him. Is that him? Is this him right here? But anyways, unveiling story, controversial claims. Let's see. Ugh. Let's see this one. What's this one? Anyways, but it says myelodysplastic syndrome, which is a bone marrow cancer. I don't know. But this is very, very interesting. This is all unfolding. It's crazy. King Bull says, I respect Tyson and all of you here. We're all red pillars and we don't live in the matrix like the lefties. 100%. Aaron Carter. I don't know what happened with Aaron Carter, but there's some crazy stuff with Aaron Carter. They were, trying to tie him up with some Michael Jackson claims and all this other stuff. Michael Jackson is a whole nother story. That's a whole nother situation with Michael Jackson. I know he was looking to purchase the Beatles masters at the time of his presumable death, and done, right? Clintons have been involved in over 150 murders, presumably. I'm going to say that real quick. But Clintons have been involved in over 150 presumable murders, including the lawyer Vince Foster, who was Hillary's business partner. Jackson, Clyde Davis. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this, because, we have Barry Sortoro here, right? And then we have a whole nother situation. We have a whole nother situation here with Big Mike. Big Mike, right? You guys are great. Jackson, Clive Davis, Prince, all these people. Isn't it a coincidence when the Jacksons started calling out the elites in 2009, he suddenly passes? It's crazy. Anne Heche also was presumably uncovering some stories regarding Ellen. We all know, well, we don't know, but presumably what happened with Mr. Jeffrey. Presumably the cameras were not working that day. The guards weren't there. What happened to Mr. Jeffrey? One of the men that unexpectedly was found in the bathtub supposedly committed suicide, but injuries are not consistent with suicide. And that's also the weird story with Twitch, with Ellen's co-host, J. Cole. Yep. That's where he says, Bill Gates, Hillary, who knows? And the other thing is, this kind of led me down another rabbit hole regarding the Hawaii situation with the land that's still not, people aren't being helped there either with those fires in Hawaii. Bill Gates just bought up a bunch of farmland and an LLC in which he is associated with acquired Bragg's. Bragg's used to be a very prominent apple cider vinegar that I used to consume quite a bit. And now that this LLC that runs parallel with Bill Gates purchased it, I no longer purchase it because it no longer has like the mother and the apple cider vinegar. But there's a lot of situations going on. Philip says Big Mike's real name, Michael Levon Robinson, met Barry in Chicago's gay bathhouses. Right? Elon says he's going to expose them all. Trump openly had stated that he's going to release the E list. Who knows who's on the D list? All the celebrities are flying out. They're leaving because they're afraid. They're afraid. Tom says Bill Gates is now the largest owner of agriculture property in the United States. Yes. Yes. And that's bananas to me because this guy fronts as a philanthropist that pushes vaccines and vaccine. Let me rewind that. Vaxes. He pushes these things and they test it in third world countries. This is crazy to me. Desiree says all these Twitter files, all the Twitter files are going to come out. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Go listen to he said tip on Aaliyah's passing. Yes. Yeah, Aaliyah was a whole nother situation too. There's a lot of these situations that don't seem too coincidental when you kind of tie them all together. When you tie them all together. What's up with the painting? What's up with the painting of Bill Clinton in the blue dress? I don't know. I didn't even know about that. I'm gonna be diving in. J. Cole says he knows and says all. He spilled the beans. I bet J. Cole knows. Somebody knows. Somebody knows what is going on. But anyways, I just wanted to share this brief history of the one and only Barry Soetoro, the Barry Soetoro saga. But if you're catching this on the replay, yeah, I'm excited for the Twitter files too. I am excited for the Twitter files to come out. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. And then also don't forget about the giveaway. Type in giveaway in the comment section down below for an opportunity to win. I'll be announcing the winners probably Sunday because I'll let that roll Saturday until Sunday. But Ann says definitely look up that painting. I'm going to look up that painting 100%. But if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section. And I wanted to give a shout out to all the moderators in the chat and everybody in the chat. We have some of the best moderators in the business on the YouTubes. And I think we have some of the best chat on YouTube. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment on Mr. Barry Soetoro. I'm going to jump on out of here, but drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one.